Hello and welcome to Booking Through Life. My name is Mary and let's talk November pile of possibilities. And there's even more besides that. You'd never guess that I was thinking of slowing things down for the month of November as the holiday season is coming upon us. I thought, yeah, maybe less is more. Make some room, some margin for some other things. But as I was making my plans for this month, the stack just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And in fact, there's even a couple of other books here on the floor that if I get to, which I won't, I would like to. But maybe some things will switch around and move around, and some of these will come off the plate and others will go on, which is what happened this month. I just wanted to say that my husband and I have been recovering from COVID, so I'm a little nasally and my eyes might be a little bloodshot, but we're doing all right. And yeah, I didn't have it too badly. It just seems to be lingering. Anyway, you know how that goes, I'm sure. Okay, so first of all, there's Nonfiction November, which I believe it was a book Olive who created the Nonfiction November just to encourage people to read more nonfiction. I went through this big period of time where really nonfiction was the only thing I was reading, or close to the only thing that I was reading. Maybe a few novels here and there, but mostly nonfiction. So I actually love nonfiction. I do read a lot of nonfiction, Christian nonfiction, but I also like biography and other, just learning about different topics. So there is, so for Nonfiction November, there are prompts, and let's see, off the top of my head, I think one's called Border, Elements, Secret, and there's one more, and I don't remember. In part, I don't remember because I'm not participating in the prompts, but I am reading some nonfiction. So here's what I'm planning and hoping to read. So in August, I had my own challenge. I was calling it Art Books in August. And so I had started reading this book called Sofonisba's Lesson by Michael W. Cole. And it's Sofonisba was a Renaissance artist, and it's not really a biography, although it does have some biographical aspects to it. But he talks about her work. She was born in 1535, and I think she died in 1625. And she is one of the few female artists of her time, and who kind of rose from the ranks of unknown to becoming an artist for the young Isabel de Valois. I'm not saying that right. Sorry for anybody who speaks French. I'm murdering it. She was the young Queen of Spain, and Sofonisba actually gave her lessons. But anyway, so this book is not really a biography, but talks about her body of work. There's 174 different works of art in here that were attributed to her. Although, and he gives a little explanation, kind of a paper trail, if you will, of how they became attributed to Sofonisba. But he feels that they're definitely not all of those works of art are her works of art. And said 5 sisters, I believe, and some of them died when they were young, but a couple of them also were artists. And so there's some confusion on which works maybe were hers or which were her sisters. But anyway, it's a very fascinating book. I do highly recommend it. even though it's not quite a biography. I became interested in learning about women artists in art history, that art history is starting to embrace women and their role in art history. So anyway, she was a pioneer of her time. Go Sofonisba. Then the other nonfiction book, that book I will finish for sure. I've only got about 30 pages left in that book. And then this book here I was given for my birthday. We have Jinx joining us again. It's Timothy Keller's Hope in Times of Fear, The Resurrection and Meaning of Easter. And I'll put him over there. And Timothy Keller is one of my favorite Christian authors. He's also, or was, a pastor. He is retired now. He was a pastor of Redeemer Presbyterian in New York, and he is battling pancreatic cancer currently. And he wrote this book during his battle with cancer, and also during the COVID. It came out in 2021. And I'm just going to read the blurb on the book jacket, a little bit of the blurb. So it says, times are difficult, disease, death, and the loss of a vision for a shared common good have shattered the idea of a bright and better future for everyone. How can we survive this moment together? Hope. And then he said, the resurrection accounts of Jesus in the Gospels hold the key to the hope we all need to face the desperation of daily life. So each chapter has hope in the name of the chapter. So I'm looking forward to going through this book. He has I think he has about 20 books, and he has a couple of devotionals that I highly recommend. Anyway, looking forward to this. Then I'll just say, if I have time, my other on reserve nonfiction is Hopper by Ivo Kranzfelder, and this is about Edward Hopper. He was an artist in the 1930s to probably 50s, 60s, and here's some of his work. He was an American, and I heard a talk on him, and just he sounds like he was not a very good husband. His wife kind of helped launch his career, and then he ridiculed her pretty much for the rest of her life. And even though she was a muse for him, she's in a lot of his paintings. Why am I interested in him? I'm not sure, except that I just kind of became interested in some of his artwork. And he does have some iconic pieces for the 40s. This was Nighthawks. So anyway, I just thought he might be an interesting person. Artists are kind of interesting and strange people. I'm one of them, so I feel like I can say that. So I'm interested in reading more about his life. But that's just kind of a possibility. So that's my nonfiction November. The next thing I'm doing, again, is my own challenge for November, and I'm calling it Nostalgic November. I really wanted to read some books, some rereads that had some nostalgic feels to me. And one of them, I found this in a thrift store, and that was John Irving's A Prayer from Owen, Meany. When I was in my 20s, I read a lot of John Irving, and I used to read this book every November at the beginning of November, and it put me in the mood, got me ready, I guess, for Thanksgiving. And when I saw this book, I was like, what was it about this book? I mean, I know what it's about, but I was just couldn't connect with my own past self in why I read this. So I thought I would try it and see if it still has the same feelings or brings about something in me that makes me ready for Thanksgiving. But this book is about two boys, and it's their friendship that lasts a lifetime. One of the boys, Johnny Wheelwright, claims that the other boy is responsible for the fact that he's a Christian, although he's not really a church-going Christian, but just, I guess, maybe that he believes in God. But so there are these two boys. Owen, Meany, was born, and his family, even though he has a mother and a father, they sort of ignore him, and he has stunted growth. He's very small. He talks, whenever he talks, it's in, I don't know if you can see it, but it's in capital letters, and he firmly believes that he was born for a reason, that God has put him on the planet for a reason, and that there's some greater purpose for his life. He befriends Johnny Wheelwright, who Johnny Wheelwright does not know who his father is raised by a single mom. In the book, the opening chapter, Owen Meany is playing baseball. There's a baseball game. Owen Meany's up to bat. He hits a foul ball. It hits Johnny's mom in the head and kills her. John Irving is kind of known for some strange plot points. Usually there's something weird sexually going on in his books. But anyway, then it chronicles their friendship. And so I'm going to see what happens if I get on with this book at this point in my life or not. So I'm looking forward to trying that. I will DNF it if I'm just like, what was I thinking back in my 20s? But I'm hoping that I'll reconnect with the book. Then the other book that I'm reading for my nostalgic November is Where the Red Fern Grows. Now, this was a favorite book of mine growing up when I was in probably 5th and 6th, maybe 7th grade as well. My best friend Linda and I used to love to read and reread this book and cry our eyes out over it. And then my son and I just recently had a conversation, and we were talking about our favorite books when we were around that age, and he had mentioned this book too, and he was buying it for his son. So I thought, oh, it's a good time to reread Where the Red Fern Grows. And this book is about a young boy in the Ozarks who really wants to own some hunting dogs, some coonhounds, and he saves up his money. I think it's over a year, and buys these two little pups named Old Dan and Little Ann. And then this chronicles their story, and it's very sweet and has some moments that made me cry and will probably make me cry again. So that's my nostalgic November. And then the next thing that I'm going to tackle in November is finish up my Montgomery challenge. And then so the prompt on this is a retelling or anything related. And I'm going to read Maud by Melanie J. Fishbane, which is a novel that was inspired by L.M. Montgomery. So I'm going to consider this a retelling. The next prompt is nonfiction or biographical, so I could count this as that, but I think what I'm going to do is YouTube has a reading of Little People, Big Dreams. It's a kids series of biographies, and they have an L.M. Montgomery one. And I was contemplating buying it, but then YouTube, you can just have this little girl read it to you. So that's what I'm going to do for that one. And then the last prompt is read or rewatch a favorite, and I don't have it right here with me, so Shazam, I'll rewatch Anne of Green Gables. And that will end my Montgomery challenge. But having said that, in the pile of possibilities, I also I started reading the Anne of Green Gables series, and so I want to read Anne of the Island. And so that will either be this month or next month or whenever I can get to it month. And then next, and I think finally, I have the Fall into Reading Challenge. And I think I will just have nonfiction, mystery or thriller, and science fiction to finish up. And so For nonfiction, I've already covered that. For mystery or thriller, I've been reading the Rhys Bowen Royal Spinous mystery series, and so I'm on book 3. And so Royal Flush will be the book that I'll read for this month. There's, I think, 2 other books that I'm hoping to read before the end of November so that I can read her Christmas one in December as well. So anyway, yeah, I'm not quite sure what this one's about, but they're very cute and fun, and it won't take me, but a minute to get through this one. And then the other mystery or thriller that I'm hoping to read, and I'm hoping to read it this month, but maybe it will be a Christmas, is The Windsor Knot. Heather at Fresh Parchment recommended a couple of books about that had Queen Elizabeth II in it as a character, and so in this one she is an amateur detective. So I thought that really sounded fun, and it's got Queen Elizabeth with her signature purse, hat, and coat, and one of her corgis. So anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that. And then the science fiction, I don't have a science fiction here with me, but I'm thinking that if I get to that, it will be Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. As I'm reading, I'm going to start Something Wicked This Way Comes within the next week before October finishes up, and so I want to reread The Martian Chronicles. So that will finish up my Fall Into Reading Challenge, and that is a wrap. Those are my hopes and dreams for November. What are you hoping to read in November? Are you hoping to slow things down? Are you hoping to have a big pile of possibilities? Are you going full on for Nonfiction November? What is it that you're planning on doing? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below. Again, that's one of the best ways to interact with someone on BookTube is to comment. Also, please like and subscribe. A big thank you again to, I don't have my sound effect, but a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel so far. I'm at 64. I was hoping to have 10 by the end of this month, so you have way exceeded my expectations. So thank you. Yay! And until next time, I hope every book is a good book, and remember to be kind to yourself. Goodbye.